So this has been a long time coming. It's been a while since I've done a podcast slash YouTube video, and it's something I've been thinking about lately. And hopefully, I'll be able to parse out these ideas. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're going to see what happens. I am not going to edit this film. I usually never do, but I'm trying to make it a point that I want to be more consistent with many aspects of my life. Lately, I've been very consistent with going to the gym, doing things that you got to do every day. Um, but some of the things that I've been aspiring to do, I just they've been like afterthoughts. Really, I've been wanting to do them, but I haven't been able to just take the plunge or find the right time to do them. And this is something that I've been pondering for quite some time. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can get this rolling. And so, what I'm trying to say is this podcast is going to be dealing with being consistent, and I'm going to talk about consistency. I'm going to talk about batching. I'm going to talk about some other stuff. We'll see what happens because I tend to kind of like segue into random things from time to time. Um, but let me just say, it's been a struggle doing these to doing these videos or to jump into a video, and for a few reasons. I've been trying to navigate how I can get time, like as if I could just gonna buy time, but like how can I organize my week or day so that I can become more productive or more efficient with my time. And one of the things I've been pondering is how can I maintain this consistency and how can I kind of make things automatic in my day to day. And I want to talk about consistency and how it can help you with your whatever it is you're searching for, whatever type of goal or skill that you are looking. You know what's kind of weird? What's kind of weird? This, this, I can hear the fan just kind of. This microphone is so powerful. It picks up all the noises. Like, I'm worried there's going to be people outside talking and it's going to pick it up. But I digress. Anyways, I've been trying to find ways to make my actions more automatic. And I feel that on Sunday, particularly, I meet up with a friend of mine. We do a podcast every Sunday. We meet up, we have some coffee, we do a podcast every Sunday. And it started out that we would do one really long protracted podcast, right? Like just anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours. And then I came to the conclusion that sometimes near the end that podcast kind of peters out. Like we're just like pulling strings, we're just pulling things off of the. We're trying to we were trying to find things to talk about, and near the end, it was like, man, this is this is getting rough. Sometimes we would have a guest come over, and all the podcasts, it would end up that in the podcast, half of the guests would just start twirling through their phone. And it's not because the podcast wasn't interesting. It's there's some there's a kernel of a there's like a lack of discipline that's occurring between certain people that are on the podcast, and I can't fault them for that. Discipline's a very hard thing to acquire, and it takes consistency. It takes practice. Being disciplined takes practice. And I was finding that my discipline in certain things that I wanted to do were faltering. Like every other thing was going strong. Like I was able to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I was able. I'm obviously I'm going to my 9 to 5 job without fail. How come on things that I want to do and things that I want to pursue, I kind of throw to the wayside. Like I'm just throwing it to the wayside. Like, tomorrow, let's do this tomorrow. And it's difficult. Like when you want to do things for yourself, it's difficult getting consistency. It's difficult getting that momentum going and keeping the momentum. So far with my podcast with my friend, I've been very consistent and we've had a steady momentum kind of propelling us forward. But I digress. I kind of went off on a tangent about our podcast and about how they are 2.5 hours long. And I said to myself, let's do 2 1 hour 40. Let's do 2 45-minute 1 hour long podcasts and cap it there. And then we'll batch podcast so that we can publish those podcasts further along in the future. So instead of like barely treading water, barely staying above the water threshold, just getting one podcast a week, we have a cushion of podcast that I'm able to publish a month, 2 months ahead of time. Now, that's not actually the best way to do it because technically a lot of the stuff we talk about is a little bit, it's kind of like it's not evergreen, it's topical, it's contemporary, it's usually stuff that's occurring that week, so like there's a delay in the conversation, and I'm fine with that, because I'm fine with that because it's at least I have a buffer to work from with regards to this podcast. And I've been trying to figure out ways in my, most specifically, figure out ways on my Sunday schedule how I can knock out a large block of content for me to talk about, like for me to promote and put out there on my social media platforms. How can I do that in sequence? And the conclusion that I've gotten to, or came to, or like my conclusion has been to just kind of to batch things. And I stumbled upon this on like I think it was Think Media, a very big YouTube channel where they talk about how can you make your videos, how can you make a YouTube channel that is growing. And one of the things they talk about was batching. Another topic that they talk about was consistency. And one of the things I'm trying to do right now, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this because it's a very difficult thing. What's back there? What's happening back there? What's back there? What's happening? I thought I saw something. Or I don't know. I don't see anything. There's a fan spinning up there. Was batching. And what that entails is doing very similar tasks together so that there is no like friction point. And I typically do this a lot with my art. Like I'll go draw on my sketchbook and then I'll go ahead and I will draw on a tablet or go ahead and paint. So I kind of like stack 3 or 4 artistic activities in a row. And so I thought to myself, why can't I do this with all my other type of fun little hobbies, aka albeit, doing podcasts, doing videos. And so that's what I'm trying to do is batch my topics together, batch my videos together. And hopefully something will come through the process of of doing this batching, and hopefully there'll be, through the act of being consistent and through the act of just doing these things over and over again, I'm going to build to something. Um, I don't know why I'm doing this. I think it's like, is it as expected to do this nowadays? Like every like guru out there, or why not guru, but like influencer. Are they influencers? Or everyone is saying you need to put yourself out there in some form, in some format or another, because there's going to be so many people out there just like throwing stuff, just throwing things. And why not just give it a whirl? I've been kind of rather lax with this podcast. I started it, and then I just kind of petered out, like, pew. And it was just kind of hard to get back into that momentum. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I, after I do a podcast with my friend, I just roll that over, come home, and start another one. Now, the video, like the thing about it is, like, sometimes I don't know what to talk about. I don't know. I don't have anything of interest to talk about. And what that does to me, it instills a little bit of fear. Like like I get fearful and scared, and what's the word where you're like, like maybe nervous, or you're kind of set aback, and you're worried that of making a mistake, right? And so I need to approach all of my ventures with a kernel, with the same mentality that I approach my art. Is, how can I separate the self? How can I separate myself, my ego, from these activities? And I try to say that, talk about that. I when I so I'm a teacher, and when I'm teaching art, I try to imparse. Is it imparse or express the idea? I try to express the idea to my students that you need to, no matter what skill level you're at, right? You need to imagine that you're always a forever beginner, and try to always seek out improving. And even if you think that your skill level is above these fundamental actions or fundamental, like, drawing studies, always come in to the activity with this, like, fake naivete, right? And we I'm drawing a blank here. So I'm is the sound quality good? I feel like it could be better, right? I feel like it could be better. That's one of the things I'm going to think about with these videos, is how can I make things better each time. And all these videos I watch on YouTube are always talking about, just do it. And I do the same thing with my art. I draw, and if I make a mistake, I just, like, so what? So what? But the thing is, when I want to do something like this, I'm instilling, like, this idealized version of what I think this thing should be. But I think obviously that's a wrong way to go about it. That's a wrong way to go about it. And what I want to do now is to create videos that I that slowly improve, slowly improve. Um, I think with this podcast, the goal right now is just to be able to express an idea concisely. And that's been, my gosh, that is something I have struggled with for some time. I honestly, I don't know if I'm able to express an idea with perfect clarity. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think anyone really does. And I think that's the goal when you're doing these things. I remember a little TikTok video I watched, and the video was talking about why you should start a podcast or a YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel could be a podcast, right? It could just be a video podcast. And one of the things that I got from it was, at the very least, by doing the podcast, you're able to you're able to organize your thoughts better. And I think that is a good skill to have. To be able to organize your thoughts in a matter that people can understand. I know for the longest time when I was teaching, when I first started, I had a really hard time explaining things. Like a really hard time. And it's hard. One second, let's take a little sip of coffee here. Look, this little cup. I like this coffee mug. It says, "Some mornings are such a drag." It's from the Naruto. It's Naruto Shippuden. I don't remember the character, but the guy was always complaining about having to do things, even though he was like a genius. He was like a lazy genius. I don't remember his name. Um, but what was I talking about? I'm gonna sip more I'm gonna sip some more coffee until the idea arises. I know I was talking about having this notion that when you do a podcast, or if you do this, it at the very least, at the very oh, I know what I was talking about. I know what I was talking about. I know. I know. I want to do something. I want to do something right here. I want to try something. I always try this. I always do. I got whoop. I'm gonna add this little. These are my notes. I always do this. I gotta have some fun here. Let's go to this. What's this? Um, let's see. I got some sounds. I got. Oh no, it's not gonna work. Wait.
Here we go. Oh my gosh. So, am I still? I'm still on it.
I'm sorry. I had to. I have to make the podcast entertaining. I'm sorry. I just have to. So I have this like weird little voice changing mod. Let's try another one for fun. This is a podcast. I can do whatever the heck I want to. This is my podcast. If I want to play around with a voice changing mod and have a little weird shenanigans, why not?
Hello. Hi. Would you like some cookies? Hey. Hey. Hi. My name is Elizabeth. Elizabeth? My name is Lisa. Lisa. Oh, 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 oh. I'm Lacey.
Sorry, that didn't turn out too well. How about this one? Let's do this one. We're gonna do it.
Hi. Anyways, no.
So Oh, that's so funny. It's so dumb though. Um, so when I first started teaching, it was for like the first 5 years. I was having a hard time articulating my ideas, and I've gotten better partially because I've explained these ideas over and over again, and that's not always true because every semester I teach, I add a little bit. I add a new concept to the Rolodex of drawing ideas. And those times that I add a new concept to the Rolodex, it gets like I come off as dumb most of the time because I'm like, it's a new idea and I haven't articulated the idea well. And so because I'm trying to, it's a new concept. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of fumbling the concept or fumbling the words, fumbling the verbiage when I'm going through it. And through time, I get better as I do the demo or as I do the lecture more and more, I tend to I kind of hone in on what I'm trying to express or the idea I'm trying to express to the class, and I get a little bit better. Um, Not just because I do it over and over again, but sometimes I will ask the class, what was weak? Like what ideas? Whoa! That's why we do these podcasts, so you have fun things happen like that. Like my I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a little dog, a hot dog, little hot dog, just kind of hanging out on my podcast. Because all these Twitch streamers and these YouTubers, they have like really cool rooms, and I don't have a really cool room, and this is like my version of visual flair that you see. You'll have like these YouTubers though, all like YouTubers that do these type of podcasts or like videos. They always have like the YouTube play button in the back to kind of validate their efforts. You ever seen? I'm going to digress again. I'm going to go off on a tangent. There was this TikTok video I saw of of, of this dad and like his son fighting. Like I don't know what they're fighting about, but like the son like took out like some old trophies of his dad's and just started breaking them. Just breaking them. Like he was just slamming it on the ground. Let me see if I can make a weird voice right here. Let's.
He was just
That didn't work. I thought if I could use that voice, it would make like this voice that I can make it like sound like I'm crashing things on the ground. But the kid goes ahead, he's like, "How, Dad? Blah 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 blah. I'm mad at you. This is what I have to say about your trophies." And he starts taking his trophies and pulls all the trophies out of this like storage box. And the dad's outside. Um, like outside breaking his trophies. I mean the son's outside breaking his trophies, yelling at his dad. I think it had to do with the son's like the son had like a play video, a play button, a YouTube play button. I don't know if it was a YouTube play button that was broke, or he broke it afterwards. I don't know the context prior, but all I know is I saw the video. The son just throwing his dad's trophies on the ground, um, and he was yelling at his dad. And I think it had to do with like maybe he accidentally broke the son's play button, like the YouTube play button, like maybe it fell over or he threw it away. I don't know. I think that might have been in the context of the reason why the son was throwing his trophies on the ground. And then and then the dad, like, just total boss move, just goes into goes into his son's like game room, takes like a PS5, takes his PS5, unplugs it. Like they were making dinner, like he was barbecuing, the dad was barbecuing, he goes in, takes the PS5 and puts the PS5 on the grill and just lights it afire. And the kid just flips out and starts like getting aggressive, like fighting or something. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something. They're getting aggressive and they're fighting, or I don't know if there was any fighting, but like I think the son knocked over the grill and it just ashes everywhere. And once the dad, like in like alpha mode, said, "Do that again. Go ahead." Um, like actually get serious. The son like screams and rants and then runs in the field behind in the forest like and you could hear the kid in the background. You could hear him like he's like just running in the forest and like what's he doing? Why is he running into the forest? He's like like oh my gosh. But I digress. What I'm saying is this dog here is my equivalent of a YouTube play button, and it's also my equivalent of all those cool like YouTubers or podcasters that have like a really nice wall that has like decorations, or like it's kind of like it's when you go into a restaurant and they have all these things like tacked up on the wall like for ambiance. Like some restaurants will have like fake stop signs or fake light, like a light, like a green and yellow light where it's like you know like decoration, or they'll have like giant just have like weird stuff. I think I haven't been to Applebee's in so long, but like Applebee's would have that kind of stuff on their wall. They just kind of have like things tacked up on the wall. And you're like, what? And that's just something that you do in restaurants because it's like, oh, look, cool little, fun little things that are screwed into the studs of the wall. And YouTubers have that going for them. They have like just rant. Some people have like really cool lights kind of like flaring in the background, boom boom, or some will have like a lava lamp, and or like some will have their YouTube plaque, and then they'll have like low key advertising for like product placement. So like one person might have like prime energy drink. I think that's what they did. Like I think like was it Jake Paul, Logan Paul, one of those Pauls, the Paul brothers. They have like prime energy drink in the background. I don't know. I don't watch that stuff. So how do I know? I don't know. I know enough that that is a thing that occurs. But they have so that's my version of it. Otherwise it's just like clutter. Like what is going on in the background here? Just like clutter. It looks messy. Eventually that'll be cleaned up. Who knows? I hope that it'll get cleaned up. I used to have a nice little like cloth backdrop in the background that kind of separate the room from the video, but I don't have that anymore. I'm not cool, man. So that's why I had that dog there and it fell over. Long story short. what Where's this going, man? Where's this going? Anyways, I just want to talk about how through doing these videos you will become a better, you know, you be better at giving speeches, essentially. Right? Is that how it works? Is that how it works? Is that how it works? Uh, and that's why I'm doing this so that I can become better in some form or another. At the very least, I'll have something to look back at and say, Look at all the silly, dumb things that I said. And I, I say a lot of dumb stuff. Like, just terrible. Like, this, just like dumb things. Not like mean things, just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said something so dumb. And it's online now. It's nothing, there's nothing better than being a bit self-deprecating. Like, you can like poke fun at yourself. Um, but a lot of these like YouTubers or these people on TikTok, man, they're posting stuff on these platforms and like it's sincere. Like they're not doing it as irony, or they don't even think what they're doing is odd. Like they're genuinely like that. Um, I find that interesting. Where like what I find really interesting was when you go on when you're going on TikTok and you're scrolling and you're seeing these individuals like dancing in public or doing weird actions in public, and you're just like, come on, man, be better. Like, and the problem with that is it builds your platform or your it builds your what's it called your not platform. It's your brand. It builds your brand really fast, but it's kind of cheap. It's not really think. It's not like It's kind of like one hit wonders. Like you gotta constantly be doing like stupid stuff just to kind of maintain or create growth. Um, Comes off as fake. Really does. It really does come off as fake. And I think, I think, I think I needed more coffee. No, I think it comes off as disingenuine. Is it disingenuous? Disingenuous. Uh, Ungenuine, not genuine. Genuine. It comes off as fake, fraudulent, and just kind of like I don't know, silly. Like this, they're trying to milk odd actions for follows or subs. And I think there's a hunger on these mediums, these platforms now for more real, a more real person, like a more genuine person, like they're really showing who you that person is. It really is. I There really is a hunger for um that type of content, you know. I think that's one of the reasons why there's this YouTuber. His name's Sam Sulek. Super jacked guy, like a young jack guy, super ripped, big. He is big. He's like 240 pounds, all muscle. His muscles got muscles. His muscles got muscles upon muscles. He's muscles. He's the muscles. You should just call him muscles. The YouTube muscles or something like that. And what he's had a meteoric rise on YouTube because even on a platform that's very hard to create growth, um, and I think that's because he's like very real, and people like hearing what he has to say because it motivates them to get to the gym, and I think that's what's driving a lot of people to his content is because they hear him talking and people resonate with what he has to say. His message about like um, working out is hard. It's not easy. It's a form of self improvement, and he espouses ideas in a very concise way, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast slash YouTube, whatever it is. He says it in a very concise way, and people like that. People like hearing things that feel like just a genuine conversation. Um, a lot of times we're getting in these platforms. You feel like, and this very well could be me years from now. I don't really think that's going to happen. I don't see it's going to grow this way. I don't see that growth in my platform. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. If it does, great. But it feels like a lot of these platforms or these social media channels are in some essence selling you something, and they're right. They're right. You're being sold something. Either, I don't know. So like a lot of them are trying to sell something, and um, I think that's why Sam Sulek is rising as a fitness influencer on YouTube, because people don't feel like um, they're being sold something. And you have people like Gary Vaynerchuk just promoting this idea, oh, you should start a podcast, you should start a YouTube for your business. Like everything's just this one giant pitch, you know? And why does it have to be? Oh, buy my course, buy this, buy that, you know? And I think there's a turning point in these platforms now. There people are seeking out hearing voices on these mediums or these social media platforms that feel real, feel genuine. They don't feel like they're being sold a makeup product or being sold a new T-shirt or a like drink or some sort of course. Oh man, my gosh, all of these like TikTokers, it drives me bananas. There's all these courses being sold. That's all they do now. Like everything is a course. Everything is a product. Like why can't the platform or the person that's on this be like, I just want you to be a better person, you know? And if starting a podcast or starting a YouTube channel makes you a better person in the process, I think that's a win, right? I think that's a win. Really, it is. So I think it's a win. So in summation, that wasn't a mod. That was my voice. I made a little high pitch. Um, in summation, I'm gonna be doing more uh, videos where I'm stacking things together, and there's gonna be more content, more quote unquote realness that I don't know. Maybe you like, maybe you don't, or maybe you want to go on the chat and say, "Oh, this is terrible." Make a little like give me like a hate comment. Like was like I go on the YouTube specifically to write negative comments all day long, every day, 24/7, 365. That's my job. I got to go on there and I got to say something. I got to find something wrong with this person's video or something negative to really incite some sort of response from all the other people watching the video, and they're going to make a giant chain of comments about how you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just make a video about it? You know? Ooh. Boop, 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 boop. All right, everyone. So, you're going to see here, you're going to... I always do this. Always, goodbyes are so hard. Goodbyes are so hard. I always mess them up. I always mess these goodbyes. These goodbyes hard. So, you're gonna be seeing more of me, and there's gonna be more videos that may or may not pertain to art. That's actually a funny little story. Like I might talk about this another time as well. But like I started the YouTube channel to like do art related videos, and I did a lot of live stream art videos, but I never made like art demos. I probably made about 30 or I don't know, under 20. I think I made about I made about 20 art tutorial videos, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I haven't made a lot of the tutorial videos, and that was the main reason why I started a YouTube channel. And you know, I've kind of decided that me and art or the art tutorial videos are going to part ways at the moment. And when I get a moment of time to do that, I will. It's just that they take so much time. You have to edit the video. You have to edit it, and that usually takes about 3 hours longer than the video, like the 10-15 minute video that you made, and you gotta you know do a bunch of editing. And perhaps that'll be in the cards in the future. Perhaps that'll be something I'll do in the future. But right now, I'm going to be doing more raw footage. And then, big goal to have more polished videos later on. And that just involves me allocating time to do so. So, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment on the comment section. It could be anything: positive, negative, neutral, frown face emoji, happy face emoji. I don't know. Take care. I gotta press this button right here. Where is it? Uh, is stop.